In 2017 Hong Kong, veteran detective Fok Chi-ho leads a tactical police team in pursuit of an armed gang amid neon-lit streets. The operation reaches a fever pitch when Fok corners the gang's ringleader, Chung Man-bing, after a desperate chase. Chung is captured, but in court, the case falls apart. No fingerprints, no evidence tying him to the seized drugs or the robbery. Chung smugly walks free, exploiting the system's technicalities. Witnessing yet another criminal slip through legal cracks, Fok's confidence in policing is shattered. Disillusioned by a justice system that lets guilty men go unpunished, he makes a drastic choice. He resigns from the police force and dedicates the next 7 years to studying law. If the law's loopholes freed criminals, Fok decides he must become a prosecutor to seal those cracks himself. 7 years pass. Fok emerges as a freshly minted public prosecutor with the Hong Kong Department of Justice. It's his first day on the job, and despite trading his badge for a briefcase, Fok remains the same relentless crime fighter at heart. Under the mentorship of Bao, a senior pupil master known for his experience and dry wit, Fok is immediately assigned a high-stakes drug trafficking case. The case centers on Ma Kakit, a poor young delivery worker caught receiving a parcel from Brazil containing a kilogram of cocaine. Ma, frightened and bewildered, insists he's no drug dealer. He claims he only lent his address to a friend, Chan Kwok-wing, who promised him a bit of cash in return. With an ailing grandfather and debts to pay, Ma's desperation made him an easy target. Fok listens intently, his instincts as a former cop sensing there's more to this story than a simple drug bust. Fok soon discovers that Ma has been coaxed into a corner by his own defense team. Ma's lawyer, Li Shaiman, and her legal assistant Ao Pak-man present Ma with a chilling ultimatum: plead guilty in exchange for a lighter sentence, or risk a trial that could jail him for life. They paint Ma's situation as hopeless. Naive and scared, Ma and his grandfather, Uncle Ma, agree to the deal, thinking it's the only way to avoid a severe punishment. When prosecutor Fok meets with lawyer Li to formalize the plea bargain, the terms immediately raise his suspicions. Ma must take full responsibility for the cocaine, while the supposed friend, Chan, walks away with all charges dropped. This one-sided bargain doesn't sit right with Fok. He knows plea deals are common, but letting the second suspect off scot-tangent-free defies logic and ethics. Fok's mentor Bao advises caution, yet Fok cannot shake the feeling that an innocent man is being railroaded. However, the chief prosecutor, Young Ditlap, is eager to accept the deal, preferring a quick conviction over a complicated trial. Young's philosophy is clear: a guaranteed conviction, even of a minor player, is better than risking the big fish getting away. Fok disagrees in his gut, but as a newcomer, he has little say, until Ma himself has a change of heart. During his months in custody awaiting trial, Ma learns a harsh truth from fellow inmates. His own lawyers have deceived him. They reveal that first-time offenders in similar cases often got far shorter sentences than what Li and Ao led him to believe. Realizing he's been manipulated into a false confession, Ma panics at the prospect of spending decades behind bars for a crime he swears he didn't commit. With renewed resolve, Ma withdraws his guilty plea at the 11th hour. In a tense detention center meeting, Fok sees genuine fear and honesty in Ma's eyes. The young prosecutor trusts his instincts. Ma might truly be innocent, and approves the plea withdrawal, allowing Ma to change his plea to not guilty. This bold move enrages Fok's boss, Young, who views it as a rookie prosecutor sabotaging an open and shut case. Suddenly, Fok finds himself at odds with his own department. Young removes Fok as lead prosecutor for the upcoming trial, demoting him to second chair under mentor Bao. The message is clear. Fok's idealism is unwelcome. Nevertheless, Fok remains determined to seek the truth rather than simply notch a conviction. When the trial for Ma Ka-kit's drug charges begins in the High Court, the atmosphere is charged. The prosecution's case should have been straightforward. After all, Ma initially confessed, but now it's anything but ordinary. Young, in a tactical move, calls Ma's former lawyer Lee and legal executive Ao as star witnesses for the prosecution. In a surreal twist, Ma's own legal advisors take the stand to testify against him, swearing that they never misled him and that Ma understood the consequences of pleading guilty. The defense attorney, Ma's new lawyer, appointed after Lee's obvious conflict of interest, tries to expose Lee and Ao's deceit, but without hard proof, their denials hold up. Each claim that Ma was simply a remorseful culprit looking for mercy. The jury watches perplexed as the prosecution leans on the very people who negotiated the original plea deal. Fok sits at the prosecutor's table, silently fuming. This feels less like justice and more like a charade to pin all blame on Ma. A tense courtroom scene unfolds as prosecutor Fok Chi-ho, Donnie Yen, bucks convention by effectively defending the accused in the middle of trial. Fok cannot remain passive. Breaking with protocol, he takes the extraordinary step of cross-examining his own witnesses, Lee and Ao, attempting to reveal their contradictions. His questions turn aggressive as he essentially accuses them, prosecution witnesses, of tricking Ma and colluding to shield Chan.
Allow me to finish my questions. 後生，我只不過係想你分析下，所以我係有理由質疑兩位佢認罪嗰個行為咧。嘅證人轉為 hostile witness. There's no logic.
The presiding judge, Michael Hui, and the jurors look on in astonishment. It's almost as if the prosecutor has swapped roles with the defense. Murmurs ripple through the courtroom gallery. Chief Prosecutor Young watches from the sidelines, livid. When Fok pushes too far, the judge admonishes him for badgering his own side. Fok's voice echoes in the hall as he argues that the duty of the prosecution is to convict the truly guilty, not to persecute the innocent. It's a shocking, unprecedented courtroom moment. A prosecutor publicly challenging the system's win at all costs mentality. This principled outburst, however, backfires disastrously. The jurors misinterpret Fok's unorthodox stance. To them, it appears even the prosecutor sees weakness in his case against Ma, which perversely reinforces the notion that Ma must be guilty. Why else would the prosecutor try to deflect blame? The defense scrambles to regain control, introducing letters from Ma's past employers, attesting to instances of dishonesty, evidence meant to smear Ma's character. Fok counters that these letters' authenticity is unverified and they should be inadmissible, but the damage is done. After a whirlwind trial, the jury delivers a devastating verdict. Ma Ka-kit is found guilty of drug trafficking. In contrast, Chan, the friend who actually orchestrated the delivery, is acquitted due to lack of evidence against him. The judge, unconvinced that Ma is truly repentant, especially after hearing how he flip-flopped on his plea, imposes a draconian sentence, 27 years in prison for the young man. Gasps and weeping erupt from the gallery where Uncle Ma sits. Fok is left in shock. His attempt to seek real justice has only sealed the worst possible outcome. Ma is hauled away in tears, and Fok is left to grapple with the sting of defeat and guilt. Over tea, Uncle Ma divulges a crucial piece of the puzzle. The lawyer Lee, who coaxed his grandson into pleading guilty, wasn't randomly chosen. She was recommended by a man named Lao Siu-kyung, the owner of the restaurant where Ma worked. Lao had seemed kind, offering help after Ma's arrest by connecting them with a free lawyer. In hindsight, it was too good to be true. Fok's eyes narrow. This corroborates his suspicion that Ma was set up. He digs into records and finds that Lau owns multiple restaurants and nightclubs around Hong Kong. And intriguingly, all of Lau's businesses use OPAC, Man's law firm, as legal counsel. It appears Lau and Ao have a long-standing partnership. But why target poor youths like Ma? Fok hypothesizes that Lau finds desperate fall guys, and Ao ensures they take the fall legally. Fok brings this information to Bao. The mentor, initially upset with Fok for the trial fiasco, now sees something darker at play. Bao recalls a troubling detail. Chief Prosecutor Young has personally overseen every case involving that legal executive Ao, and in each instance, the secondary suspect was mysteriously exonerated. Could it be that Young himself is involved in this scheme? The idea that the Department of Justice's top prosecutor might be colluding with criminals is almost unthinkable, but the pattern is there. Despite the risk to their careers, Fok and Bao start an off-the-record investigation. Bao goes undercover, donning casual clothes instead of his usual barrister's wig, and heads to Lau's nightclub to sniff around for evidence. Under pulsating club lights and thumping music, Bao mingles quietly until he overhears a private argument in a back room. He discreetly records the exchange on his phone. Through the crack of a door, he glimpses Lau arguing with a younger man. It's Chan Kwok-wing, Ma's friend, and the acquitted co-defendant. To Bao's astonishment, Lau and Chan refer to each other as brothers. It clicks. Lau and Chan are half-brothers running a sinister con. The scheme is more elaborate than Fok imagined.
隊夠咪走，我唔係你大佬啊，我姓陳嘅。喺法庭見我佢。我出嚟。今次攞咗佢啦，走啊！喂，佢咁樣。
Fok's martial arts prowess is on full display. He takes on multiple assailants with precision strikes and improvised weapons. But the numbers keep increasing. More gang members pour out of back rooms. Fok refuses to back down, fighting furiously to protect Bao. One thug swings a metal fire extinguisher with a sickening thud, catching Fok in the ribs and then cracking him across the skull. Backup finally arrives. Inspector Lee King-wai, Fok's old police protege, and a squad of officers flood the club. They tackle the thugs and drag Fok and Bao to safety. This joint effort between Fok's old world and new shows that despite internal conflicts, there are allies on both sides of the law willing to do what's right. Shaken but alive, Fok and Bao regroup at the police station. They formally report the conspiracy to Chief Young, laying out how Ao Pak-man, himself secretly a law-educated crime lord, has been orchestrating these miscarriages of justice in league with Lau, Chan, and possibly others. Young bristles at the suggestion that he's been unknowingly used, or worse, complicit. Bao even pointedly asks why Young always happened to lead those cases where Ao's clients walked, a jab at the possibility of Young's corruption. Young reacts defensively, almost insulted by the insinuation. The meeting ends tensely, with Young ordering Fok to drop his vigilante investigation. Frustrated but undeterred, Fok and Bao quietly prepare an appeal for Ma Ka, Kit's case, using what evidence they've gathered. At the very least, the new revelations might convince a higher court to reopen the trial. Tragically, justice moves slower than vengeance. Before the appeal can be heard, Fok and Uncle Ma meet for a meal at a Cha Chan Tang, a local cafe, to discuss next steps. For the first time, Ma Ka-kit has a glimmer of hope. Fok promises they will fight to free him. Uncle Ma, usually stern, allows himself a small smile as he dreams of seeing his grandson exonerated. Fok steps outside the diner to take a call from Bao. It's at that moment that two assassins slip into the cafe. Uncle Ma's relieved smile turns to confusion as the men approach. By the time Fok rushes back in, he finds the old man slumped over the table, lifeless. A glimpse of a motorcycle speeding away is all that's left of the hitman. Fok kneels beside the only family Ma Ka-kit had, tears of rage and regret welling in his eyes. He has failed to protect the one person who stood by the innocent boy. In prison, Ma receives the news of his grandfather's death. The youth breaks down completely, sobbing into the phone as Fok vows through the glass that he will get justice for both of them. This is Fok's lowest moment. His crusade for the truth has cost an innocent life, yet it also hardens his resolve like steel. With Uncle Ma gone, Fok channels his guilt into action. He and Bao double down, working day and night to compile evidence of the conspiracy. Surprisingly, their earlier efforts have not gone unnoticed by their peers. The same prosecutor colleagues who once dismissed Fok's idealism now rally around him. In an office after hours, a few approach Fok with contrite smiles and cold beers, a gesture of respect. They admit that the hypothetical case Fok debated on his first day, about prioritizing truth over an easy win, now makes sense. United by a sense of outrage at how their justice system was misused, the small team pores over old case files. They discover multiple past defendants just like Ma, innocent patsies who were pressured into guilty pleas while a co-accused walked free. Fok realizes this criminal scheme has ruined many lives, not just Ma's. At last, a breakthrough. One of the past victims, a young woman, agrees to come forward. She tearfully recounts how a friendly legal advisor manipulated her into confessing to a drug crime she didn't commit, exactly the same pattern. Her testimony could blow the case wide open. However, the criminal syndicate is also moving swiftly to cover its tracks. Oh Pak-man, revealed as the mastermind, knows the walls are closing in. With Lao Siu-kyung, the restaurateur, exposed by Bao's undercover video, as Lao tries to flee by boat, Sang and Tung's henchmen intercept him. In a ruthless execution, Lao is murdered, silenced before he can spill secrets. Ah's last-ditch plan crumbles. His syndicate is now exposed and panicking. Back at the Department of Justice, Fok faces one more obstacle. Chief Young. Young summons Fok to his office and icily informs him that he's being transferred out of the DOJ, effectively ending his prosecutorial crusade. This is punishment for the chaos Fok has unleashed. Fok, at the end of his rope, decides to take a gamble. In a dramatic confrontation, he accuses Young of being in league with Ao, claiming he has evidence of their collaboration. Young erupts in anger at the affront and even swings a punch at Fok. Which Fok does not return. Panting and furious, Young realizes Fok's accusation is a bluff. There is no such evidence. Fok coolly admits as much, but his ploy has a purpose. With Young now on board, the Department of Justice formally supports a retrial for Ma Ka-kit. New evidence of legal malpractice and criminal conspiracy convinces the court to hear the case again. The retrial will bring Oh Pak-man and his co-conspirators to justice and exonerate Ma, but only if a key witness can testify. That witness is Chan Kwok-wing, the elusive half-brother who has been in hiding since Lao's death. Meanwhile, Fok and Inspector Lee drive Chan towards the courthouse under police escort. Tension hangs thick in the air as they weave through traffic. They know they're moving targets. Suddenly, as their convoy passes under a highway overpass, a large truck slams into Lee's car at full speed. Metal twists and glass shatters in a vicious ambush. It's an assassination attempt orchestrated by Sang's gang to stop Chan. Lee's car flips. Dazed but alive, Inspector Lee crawls from the wreck, injured. "Go!" he urges Fok. knowing how crucial Chan's testimony is. Fok's only chance to outmaneuver the assassins is the Hong Kong MTR, the subway. He and Chan abandon the car and rush into the nearest station, blending into crowds. They hop onto a moving train just as a handful of Sang's killers follow onto the same train car, weapons concealed. What follows is the film's show-stopping climax, a running close-quarters fight aboard a thundering subway train. With the hitman neutralized and police sirens echoing down the station halls, Fok and Chan dash out and race to the courthouse on foot. They arrive in the courtroom, clothes torn and bloodied but with evidence in hand. A hush falls as Chan Kwok-wing takes the stand. Under oath, Chan confesses everything. How he and his half-brother Lau set up Ma Ka-kit and others like him. How Aupak, Man's firm, orchestrated the false pleas, and how the drug lords Sang and Tung oversaw the whole operation. He produces Lau's hidden ledger, concrete proof of payments, and communications with Au and his syndicate. The courtroom is stunned. Au Pakman, who moments ago exuded confidence, now looks ashen. His lawyers are deflated. There is no spinning this. Young and Fok exchange a proud, vindicated nod across the room as the truth finally comes to light. With the conspiracy laid bare, the judge has no hesitation in voiding Ma Ka-kit's previous conviction. In a voice breaking with emotion, the judge declares Ma Ka-kit not guilty on all charges, apologizing on behalf of the court for the grave miscarriage of justice that occurred. Based on Chan's testimony and the evidence, Au Pakman and his accomplices are immediately placed under arrest right there in the courtroom. In subsequent proceedings, Au is convicted on numerous charges, from conspiracy to pervert the course of justice to drug trafficking, and sentenced to 30 years in prison, a fitting fate for the law school-educated kingpin. His wife, barrister Lee Shae-man, is exposed as complicit and receives a prison term for obstruction of justice. Triad bosses, Yin, Sang, and Tung, are convicted of murder and trafficking, earning life sentences. Even Chan, despite turning witness, is not absolved of wrongdoing. He is sentenced to 13 years for his role in the drug ring, a lighter sentence in exchange for his cooperation. One by one, the corrupt network that preyed on the innocent is dismantled. It's a sweeping victory for the rule of law. True justice served in full. In the aftermath, Ma Ka-kit is released from prison. But the victory is bittersweet. He walks free into the sunlight, a vindicated man, yet his beloved grandfather is not there to greet him. He lost faith in the system once, but fought his way back to uphold it on his own terms.